A little while back, I did a video on my training routine that I used to get into the best shape of my life and winning my division in Golden Gloves. And in that video, I shared a couple of the mindsets that really helped me. And I wanted to come on here and actually share a couple more of those mindsets that really helped out. Of course, anybody that's on this channel is probably a pretty big fan of Bruce Lee, or else I don't know why else you'd be on this channel. Bruce Lee's also been my idol since I was a little kid. When I was struggling with my weight and I was struggling to stay motivated, a big part of it had to do with feeling so behind. Like I felt like I had wasted so many years. In hindsight, now that I'm in my 40s, it's like that was such a small blip of time. But when you're in your 20s, that's a pretty big portion of your life, is 2 or 3 years. I mentioned in the video that I would start all my workouts with a 15-minute jog. And a big part of that time was spent almost like repeating mantras of mindsets that I wanted to keep in mind. And I shared 2 of them with you in that video. But another big thing that I would think about to help my mindset on these runs was I would think about Bruce Lee's life and the example that he was, because he only lived to be 32 and he still went on to become one of the best martial artists, or at least a very proficient martial artist, however you want to think about it, and to be one of the greatest minds in martial arts, to revolutionize martial arts, and become one of the biggest martial arts superstars, all in the short span of 32 years. Not only did he accomplish so much, he also started from so much farther back than so many of us do. I mean, at the age of 18, he moved to America with $100 in his pocket, nothing really going for him. When he tried to break into the acting scene, he had to contend with so much racism. Even the series Kung Fu was his idea, but they gave it to David Carradine because they're afraid that Bruce Lee was too oriental looking for the role in a show called Kung Fu. And then I think about his back injury that he sustained that put him out for 6 months. And this was all at the height of his martial arts training and his physical training. And all of a sudden, he's bedridden for 6 months, unable to move, unable to get out of bed. And he's told that he may never walk again. Where do you get the motivation to do anything? You're forced into having to all of a sudden just watch your goals go by the wayside, and with the possibility that you'll never get to even rehab back to who you were. Rather than giving up, he spent all this time reading and studying and training his mind and getting to understand the intellectual part of martial arts. We would not have Jeet Kune nearly quite as refined and drilled down if Bruce Lee hadn't have had that injury. So looking back on it, his injury was one of the greatest things to happen to Jeet Kune Do. But at the time, I can't imagine he would have naturally thought so, or at least I would not have thought so. With a major injury, I would have seen that as a massive excuse to not train and to give up and to feel like I can never amount to what I could have. Now, the doctors were wrong, and Bruce Lee went on to do amazing things in the martial arts world. But this is where Bruce Lee's philosophy that we all know, the be like water, where he just adapted. He just said, okay, you put up something in my way here, then the water just goes around. It finds a new way. Bruce Lee said the most important quality a martial artist could develop is the ability to adapt. And that whole idea of be like water is exactly that. And it's exactly what Bruce Lee did. When I would go running every morning, I would remember that. I would remember everything that he accomplished, all in that short period of time, with a lot more obstacles than I have in my life. And even when faced with one of the biggest setbacks in his life, he used it as a time for growth in other areas. Think back to who you were and what you were doing 5 years ago. It's probably very different. Like, you're probably in a very different situation. This is 2026, the beginning of it. So that would have been the very beginning of 2021. We were still pretty thick in the pandemic 5 years ago. Like, when I think about that and how much my life has changed in that 5 years, if you go 5 years further back to that, the beginning of 2016, think about where your life was then. And now think about how far you could be or how different your life could be 5 years from now if you were to make a conscious effort on steering those 5 years. So I hope somebody found this a little inspiring. I hope this helps with your mindset as you tackle your own goals in this new year. And yeah, bye.
Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
How would you like to join me for free for my 21-day Fit Warrior Challenge? This includes your workouts, your nutrition. We've got a tracking component to it, so you'll be able to really get up and started starting February 9th. It's something that's been very successful at our gym, and I want to offer it to my YouTube community for free. I'll also be going live 3 days a week teaching a short Jeet Kune beginner's lesson. Click the link in the description to sign up. Give me your email. If you want to give me your phone number, I'll text you when I've sent an email out so you don't miss the information, and we'll rock and roll together. Dropping off birthday cards for our awesome members. Showing them some love.